It was a peaceful night in Pakistan on May 7th, 2025. Most people were asleep. The sky was quiet, but everything changed at 10:05 in the morning. Indian fighter jets launched a surprise airstrike, hitting 9 locations deep inside Pakistani territory and areas controlled by Pakistan in Kashmir. According to India, the strikes targeted militant training camps, and over 70 militants were killed. Pakistan quickly called it an act of war. This sudden military move came just weeks after a deadly attack in Kashmir. On April 22nd, 4 armed attackers crossed over from Pakistan and opened fire on a group of tourists in Pahalgam. It was a terrible day. 26 innocent people lost their lives. Across India, people were heartbroken and angry. There were peaceful protests in many cities. India decided to take strong but non-violent steps at first. It paused all talks with Pakistan and froze an important water-sharing agreement. This agreement had allowed river water from India to flow into Pakistan. In response, Pakistani leaders warned that blocking water could lead to serious consequences, even bloodshed. India's Prime Minister then gave full permission to military leaders to make their own plans and act if needed. Intelligence officers began tracking down those responsible for the April 22nd attack. Indian forces took position along the border. Fighter jets began training in the sky. Naval ships moved into position. Soldiers loaded their weapons. Tension filled the air. In Pakistan, everyone could feel that something big might be coming. People couldn't sleep. They stayed alert, watching the news and waiting. Then came the morning of May 7th. At 10:05 a.m., Indian jets rose into the sky. A total of 24 missiles were launched. The targets were 9 hidden camps, believed to be used by militants. Some were hidden in the hills of Pakistan, administered Kashmir. Others were in farmland in the Punjab region. The Indian government said the targets were chosen carefully. They only wanted to hit camps used by militants. No homes, schools, or military bases were targeted. The goal was to avoid harming civilians. People in cities like Muzaffarabad heard loud explosions. In places like Ki, Shakargarh, and Ahmedpur Shakia, the sky lit up with fire, and smoke rose into the air. Villagers ran outside. They felt the ground shake beneath their feet. By 1:25 p.m., the strikes had ended. Indian commanders watched from control rooms and confirmed that the operation went as planned. The jets returned safely, but across the border, fear and confusion had already spread. Air raid sirens rang out in cities across Pakistan. Soldiers rushed to their stations. Radar systems scanned the skies. Families hid in basements or fled to safer places. Nobody slept that night. The next morning, the news spread quickly. India claimed to have eliminated more than 50 militants in the strikes. Pakistan's leaders strongly condemned the attack. They called it a violation of sovereignty and warned that a response could come at any time. One of India's most wanted men, Masood Azhar, was believed to have played a role in the April 22nd attack. He had been living in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, and India believed he ran training camps in the region. His camp near Kotli was one of the key targets on May 7th. Although the missile struck the area, Azhar was not there. He had apparently left just hours earlier. Sadly, about 10 members of his family were killed in the blast, as they were living next door to the camp. No one is sure what happened to Azhar. Some believe he may still be alive, while others think he may have been injured or killed later. This wasn't the first time India and Pakistan have come close to open conflict. Back in 2016, on September 18th, 4 militants crossed into India through the line of control and attacked an army camp in Uri, Kashmir. They killed 19 Indian soldiers and wounded more than 30. India reacted strongly. On the night of September 28th, Indian Special Forces carried out what they called surgical strikes. They crossed the line of control on foot and attacked 7 militant launch pads. These missions were secret and precise. Explosives were used to destroy bunkers and weapons. The teams returned safely with no Indian casualties. The world watched closely, urging both countries to avoid further fighting. Then again in 2019, a devastating suicide bombing happened in Pulwama. A car packed with explosives hit a convoy of security forces. 40 Indian officers lost their lives. India blamed a group based in Pakistan and responded with airstrikes on a training camp in Balakot. That event also brought the two nations to the edge of war. Fighter jets clashed. A pilot from India was captured, but later returned safely. Pakistan denied any losses of its aircraft. Now, in 2025, a new name has been given to the latest operation, Operation Sindoor. The name comes from the red powder that a husband applies to his wife's hair, parting in Hindu tradition, a symbol of love and marriage. The operation was named in memory of one of the victims of the April 22nd attack, a man whose wife now wears Sindoor not for joy, but in mourning. India was clear. The mission was only to hit militant camps. It was not an attack on Pakistan itself. The targets were carefully chosen to avoid civilian harm. Still, the reaction from Pakistan was swift. On the night of May 8th, Pakistan fired drones and missiles across the border. Targets included Srinagar, Jammu, and Amritsar. But according to Indian officials, every incoming threat was intercepted and destroyed. The remains of the drones and missiles are being collected as evidence. Early the next morning, India responded again. This time, it hit a Pakistani air defense radar system near Lahore. Meanwhile, Pakistani artillery began firing mortars into villages along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. In places like Poonch and Rajouri, civilians were caught in the middle. Local reports say at least 15 civilians, including women and children, were killed. Dozens more were injured. Now, both militaries are on high alert. Indian jets continue flying patrols. Troops are reinforcing border areas, and leaders on both sides are keeping a close watch. India's Prime Minister has said clearly, the country wants peace, but it will defend itself if needed. Ordinary people in Pakistan are feeling the pressure. The economy is already struggling, and inflation is high. Now, many families are quietly preparing for the worst. People are buying extra food and water, just in case the conflict grows worse. At this moment, both countries remain in a tense standoff. India says it has only targeted militants. Pakistan says it has the right to defend its land. The world is watching, hoping that peace can be restored. On both sides of the border, people are holding their breath, praying that this crisis doesn't turn into a full-scale war. Will there be more attacks? Will Pakistan respond with greater force? Only time will tell. Thank you so much for watching this video. Good night, sweet dream. See you next time.